Almost Famous with John Shea. Featuring local and independent musicians from the South Shore, Boston, and New England. On 95.9 WATD.
Welcome to the Tiny Stage Hour, 95.9 WATD, introducing you to independent bands and musicians from across New England. I'm John Shea. This is Almost Famous every Tuesday night. If you're a local band or musician with original music you'd like to hear on the radio, reach out, find all the information on the Almost Famous page at 959watd.com. While you're at it, give me a follow on your favorite social media platform, Facebook and Instagram at Almost Famous Radio, and a podcast. We have one of those too. You can subscribe by searching Almost Famous WATD on your favorite podcast app, or simply by going to almostfamousradio.com. So tonight, it's the Tiny Stage Hour, and we're being joined in studio by Andrew Geano. How you doing, my friend?
Hello, I'm doing good. Thank you, John.
It has been way too long.
It's been a long time in the works, yes, but we finally got it done.
Yes. So for those who might not be familiar with you, give an introduction.
My name is Andrew Geano. I am a Boston-based singer-songwriter. I've been playing music in that area for a long, long time, probably 8 or 9 years. You can see me doing cover gigs all throughout New England, really, South Shore, Middlesex County, Boston area, up in New Hampshire, sometimes even in Vermont and Western Mass. So I'm all over the place to whoever wants to pay me to play covers for them.
Fantastic. And I first met you right here on the South Shore. You were hosting an open mic in Duxbury.
Yes, I was. Oh, man, yeah, that was the Wildflower Cafe in Duxbury. That was a time in my life where I was actually hosting 3 open mics in the same week.
Yes, I think I saw you at one in Brighton, too, in the same week.
So I used to host one in Brighton. Yes, it was the first one that I host at a place called Smoking Joe's Barbecue. Loved it. Absolutely amazing. So much fun. I did that with my co-host Terrence Reeves, and then we ended up doing an open mic in Newton. Maybe that's where I saw you, actually. I'm not sure, but that was Terry O'Reilly's open mic jam in Newton Center in Newton, Massachusetts. We did that for about a good 5 to 6 years, and that was eventually became my main area of focus in terms of the open mics I was hosting.
I have to ask, too, Geano is your stage name. Can you share with us your given name?
God, your secrets that you're just giving to the public right now. I mention this all the time. Geano is, in fact, my stage name. My real last name is Giannakopoulos, so I think it's fairly obvious by means of me uttering that last name as to why I decided to shorten it.
Much easier for the Instagram.
Much easier for the Instagram, much easier for the Googling public, too, as well.
So we're still early in 2022. Happy New Year, by the way.
Happy New Year, yeah.
Still kind of in the COVID thing, too. How has...
It's weird. It almost still feels like 2020.
It really does.
For some reason. I don't know why, but...
How has the pandemic affected you and your music? It's been, like you said, it feels like a very long 2 years in 1 year.
It has, though I will say that I feel like I was one of the lucky ones in that it didn't change my schedule all too much. Like everyone, when it first started back in March, I went about 3 months without playing music at all, but then I was lucky enough to have a lot of contacts up in New Hampshire. New Hampshire opened up their restaurants for music, at least outdoors in the summer, right around June of 2020. So when that came about, I was doing gigs almost at my normal schedule, like 2 to 3 times a week. It slowed down a little bit in the winter of 2020, but then as 2021 rolled in and Massachusetts started opening up, it seems, for me at least, it's kind of gone back to normal. The one thing that has changed was that my bandmates I wasn't really able to play with, not only just because of COVID and social distancing and the logistical challenges that, social distancing brings with booking full band gigs. And on top of that, and perhaps mainly, my 2 bandmates, my guitar player and my bassist, they're married and they actually just had a kid during COVID. So I guess their interests are elsewhere. But,
I can't imagine why.
No, his name's Jackson. He's the cutest thing in the world. And
That's
eventually
awesome.
He will join the band as well. So
Fantastic.
Yeah, so that was the only thing that I felt that I was missing. And luckily, this past Saturday, we played our first gig in about 2 years, and it went really, really awesome.
That's cool. So we're about 3 weeks into 2022, and you've already released new music.
Yeah, no, I came out with my first single in a long, long time. It's called Head Voice, and that just came out on midnight on Sunday, January 9th, and I'm so proud and happy with it. Not only is the single available on all digital streaming platforms, but we also released a music video, too, which is available on YouTube, my website, and that's about it.
Share that website with us if you
My
would.
website, of course, is www, the period, also known as the dot, AndrewGeanomusic.com. And Geano, of course, is spelled Geano.
Not Geano, as I've been calling you for like 3 years.
That's okay. As we've established, it's a made-up name, so I feel like a little bit ostentatious correcting people for not succumbing to my
Made-up name.
my vain desires of calling me by a made-up fantastical name, such as Geano.
Speaking of made-up names, let's hear a made-up song. What is first on your set list tonight?
I'm going to play my first single that was ever released. It's called Martyr. This came out in 2019.
Awesome. Andrew Geano on the tiny stage, 95.9 WATD. It's all yours.
Here we go.
I wanna see you in the movies. I wanna read you in a book. I wanna buy up all your trophies. I wanna steal back all you took. I need a moment to be healthy. I need a second to fall back. I need your fingerprints all over me. I need to scrub off all this black. Yep. There's nothing more of this to say now. Nothing to do but rearrange. There's nothing wrong with a lost memory. Nothing to lose but all this pain. I was sold on you as a martyr. I was thinking of you as a ghost. Could it be so early? A reminder, soon you'll go, you'll go, you'll go. I'd like to see you in the Red Cross. I'd like to watch you live in Rome. I'd like to mess you up with cocaine. I'd like to have you come back home. I'm only screaming in a vacuum. Only the best from Montreal. If only I was in a apostate, then only you would set me free. I was sold on you as a martyr. I was thinking of you as a ghost. Could it be so early? A reminder, soon you'll go, you'll go, you'll go. I need a predilection. I want a noose around our good times. I want the final power. I want it so much louder. I want what only you can give. I was sold on you as a martyr. I was thinking of you as a ghost. Could it be so early? A reminder, soon you'll go, you'll go, you'll go. I was sold on you as a martyr. I was thinking of you as a ghost. Could it be so early? A reminder, soon you'll go, you'll go, you'll go. Soon you'll go, you'll go, you'll go. Soon you'll go, you'll go, you'll go. Soon you'll go.
That's a great way to start the show. Andrew Geano, 95.9 WATD on the almost famous Tiny Stage. Talk about that song. How did that one happen?
That song I wrote the chorus of a long time ago, probably 4 or 5 years. Didn't really have anything to go anywhere to go with just the chorus. I had a verse that didn't really work. It was kind of all over the place and not very inspired. Then on my 30th birthday, actually, it was the day after, was kind of in a low place. I was feeling sort of disconnected from my friends and people. I felt sort of helpless in the fact that I felt people were coming in and out of my life and there was not a lot I could do about it. And so I wrote a song about people moving on from you. It was like, and you expecting it. And the whole self-fulfilling prophecy thing of expecting someone's going to leave and they end up, leaving. So it's kind of a pushing people away song. And that's where I came up with the name Martyr, and thought it just fit the whole thing of what I was trying to do there. So yeah, depressing, I know.
What a great story.
Thank you.
How long has music been a part of your life?
A long time. So I started playing piano when I was 5 years old, and I took piano lessons up until probably 12 or 13, and around that time I picked up my guitar for the first time. Taught myself guitar and didn't really start singing actually until mid-college or after college. And so around 2021 is when I, just did on-the-job training at open mics, learning how to sing. And ever since then, I've just been plugging away at open mics, at gigs, and I've never looked back.
Do you remember the very first musical moment in your life?
Oh, that's a good question. Musical moment that really, I'm guessing like some moment that really enraptured me
exactly.
as a fan. That's a difficult one to answer. No, in terms of like what I really remember a song that I like, I'd have to get back to you on that. I can tell you my earliest influences. I remember Weird Al Yankovic was actually my first favorite artist when I was a very small kid. He's awesome.
I love Weird Al.
I remember Gangsta's Paradise was super big at the time. I was probably 8 or 9 years old. And I was watching MTV, and Gangsta's Paradise was all over the place, and I loved it. And then one day, I hear the music to Gangsta's Paradise on MTV, but it was playing over this Amish backdrop. And some guy in glasses and a long beard, dressed as an Amish guy naturally, starts singing about the Amish lifestyle. And I was just entranced. I had no idea what was going on. I didn't even know what a song parody was. My sister was in the shower, and I'm like banging on the door, knocking, like, Emily, you have to come see this. Please tell me what's happening. She was a bit older than me, so she explained who he was, and I thought that was so cool. And yeah, that was in fact a formative moment into my appreciation for music, because he eventually became the first person I was obsessed with. And then I moved on to Weezer, to the Beastie Boys, Blink-182, Third Eye Blind, then Radiohead, and REM.
The standards for like early millennials.
Exactly. Those are pretty much
mine too.
Those are pretty much canon.
I want to go back. You mentioned your on-the-job training at open mics.
Yeah.
In your college years. When did you gain the confidence to start playing not just music, but your original music in front of people?
This is a cool story. The first time I started playing. So I've done a few open mics I did one in high school, which is actually a really big moment for me. That was the first time I played an original song. I think it was called Changing Me. I don't even remember how to play it. It probably wasn't good by my standards today, but people really liked it and sort of gave me an identity in high school. So that was the very first time I played an original song, was in high school. But I kind of let it go while I was in college, because I was more concerned doing very unproductive and unhealthy things in college than forming a fledgling music career. When I started taking it seriously, basically when I started my journey where I am now, I went to what I would eventually become the host of, the open mic Smoking Joe's in Brighton, Massachusetts. And I had this beat up guitar. It survived all 4 years of my college years, so of course it was just in terrible shape. It didn't plug in. It was bad. And I tried playing a song that, again, I don't even remember what it was. And I felt so dejected because it clearly didn't go well. I wasn't singing on key. My guitar was on a tune. It was going in and out. And I thought that was it. I thought it just went so bad. I was dejected. I'm like, well, I'm never going to do this again. And this couple, I'm burying the lead there for a second. As I go to the bar to get a beer, The bartender hands me a beer, and she says, "Hey, by the way, this couple over there just purchased that for you." I'm like, "Oh my God, really?" So I went up to the couple. I said, "Thank you," and the couple was like, "You just want to let you know that we loved it. It just takes so much gut to play original music," and that was amazing. And that was just such a beautiful moment, because I don't think I would have the confidence otherwise to have come back and started, kept plugging away at my own original music and, exposing myself and being vulnerable, had it not been for that one moment of kindness. So ever since then, it's just been not smooth sailing, but it's certainly been, never looking back after that.
That's incredible. Yeah. Another great story.
Yeah.
Let's hear another live song. What are we listening to next?
Well, I think I just play my first single. I guess it would be apropos to play my latest single, now available on Spotify, iTunes, the whole shebang.
It came out, you said midnight the 9th?
Midnight the 9th of this
awesome.
Of a couple Sundays ago.
Excellent. We have Andrew Geano on the tiny stage, 95.9
Let's do this.
WATD.
The air raid should be done by now. Careful, careful. The cold wind flowing throughout the town. Careful, careful. Never thought you would still be around, but I guess it's time that we both go down. Yeah. There's a bullet shell signed with both our names. Careful, careful. A few things I know that I now can't say. Careful, careful. Never thought things would turn out this way, but I guess I have no choice but to stay. So keep your head down through the wild noise. Take a deep breath, make the wise choice. Throw your hands up, let your head voice be enough. The world has changed with wartime light. Careful, careful. Survivor's guilt is all I find. Careful, careful. Thought we would have found a brand new life, but I guess I'll still be staying the night. So keep your head down through the wild noise. Take a deep
Awesome. Andrew Geano on the tiny
Yeah.
stage, 95.9 WATD. We are up against our first break of the 9 o'clock hour, the tiny stage hour. So we have a lot more songs to share, more to talk about too with Andrew Geano right here on 95.9 WATD. Stick around.
And now, back to Almost Famous on 95.9 WATD.
Welcome back to the almost famous tiny stage, 95.9 WATD. Introducing you to independent bands and musicians from across New England. I'm John, and tonight we're being joined on the tiny stage by Andrew Geano. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing well, John. Thank you.
My pleasure. So, one more time, give us an introduction.
Sure. My name is Andrew Geano. I am a Boston-based singer-songwriter. You can catch me all throughout New England, southern New Hampshire, northern Massachusetts, South Coast Mass, western Massachusetts, middle Massachusetts, sometimes up in Vermont as well, playing cover songs, doing everything from 90s, 80s, 70s, having a fun time. And also occasionally I play out my original stuff too.
Fantastic. Speaking of which, a new single dropped about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago?
About a week and a half ago, yeah.
The 9th?
On the 9th of midnight, yeah. So very early Sunday morning, January 9th, you were able to hear my single for the first time.
And share with us your website and any social media pages you have out there too.
Absolutely. So my website is www, which is short for World Wide Web, .andrewgeanomusic.com. I don't know what com is short for, but regardless, just put that in. It'll get you to where you need to go. AndrewGeanomusic.com. Geano is, of course, spelled Geano.
How about available music other than the new single that just dropped?
Sure, yeah. Well, my first album, Something I Invent, which came out in 2019, is streaming on all the platforms as well, Spotify, iTunes, and everywhere else. And that was my very first debut LP. It included my first single, Martyr, includes the song that I eventually used as my first official music video, which was Not That Free, and 12 songs of stuff that I'm really, really proud of and haven't cringed too much over in the subsequent few years.
Excellent. Let's keep on going with the live tunes. What are we going to listen to next?
So this song I actually recorded on my own with my band, socially distanced during the pandemic. We all did our parts away from each other, and I gave the raw tracks to my friend Terrence, who mixed it all together and mastered it, and it was this sort of homemade project that was really fun to do during COVID. So this is called Wanna Be Right.
Excellent. Andrew Geano on the tiny stage, 95.9 WATD. It's all yours, my friend.
Let's do it.
You've been seeking truth and meaning. You must be
Very nice. Andrew Geano on the tiny
you.
stage. 95.9 WATD. We talked about national influences earlier in the night.
Yeah.
Who are you listening to locally?
Locally, oh man, I wish I put it on. I haven't been listening to too much music in these past couple of months. Been so busy to like really get in, and even though I do a lot of driving, a lot of times I'm listening to books on tapes or podcasts. As far as local bands that I do very much enjoy, there's a band based out of Lowell called Wildcat Slim, who are just phenomenal. They're my favorite local Boston act. Their songs are just so good. They're your general rock band. Like I wouldn't say that they're like indie rock or folk rock or anything like that, because they encompass so many styles into their sound. But my friends Matt, Savannah, Josiah, and Isaac, huge shout out to everyone who goes to the Wildcat Slim. And also, of course, my really close friends. I'm very much biased, but I do think this is an accurate take. Danielle Pinel, she's a local singer-songwriter. She appears on my first album. Chris Steele and Lady Mallory, both of them played my show at the Bebop for my single release. They're incredible. I could go on, and I'm just really lucky. I just think all my friends are super, super cool, and I know it's a biased take, but I think it's an accurate
I love that.
one nonetheless.
Well, let's hear some more of your songs. What are we listening to next?
So this is a new song. That's why I have my lyric book / my iPhone on my side over here. This is called Eliza. This is about being hung up on a lady of your past. How male singer-songwriter of me, right?
Let's hear it.
Eliza, can you hear me? The fear I'll never love again. This glove just doesn't fit without Eliza. Lord, I tried to break out of this addiction. This condition won't remiss when there's Eliza. You know you'll be the death of me, Eliza. And I'd do anything to stop the screams. Eliza's got my throat and I can't breathe. Eliza's got a hold on me. Eliza, I remember the things you said to calm me down and rob me of my confidence. Eliza, look behind you. You'll see me standing in the rain with pain welled in my eyes and face. Eliza, you know you'll be the death of me, Eliza. And I'd do anything to stop the screams. Eliza's got my throat and I can't breathe. Eliza's got a hold on me. On me. You won't get out. My lost and found. You won't get out. My lost and found. You won't get out. My lost Eliza's got my throat and I can't breathe. It's simply no, not to be. I'm drifting into irrelevancy. Eliza's got a hold on me.
Love that. Andrew Geano on
Her
the tiny
name's
stage.
not actually Eliza, guys. Don't worry. She's not going to feel weird about it.
Well, you just read my mind. So I was going to ask you that, do you typically write from personal experience, or do you have the ability to put yourself into somebody else's shoes and write from their perspective?
It's usually personal experience, but I'd really like to change that. I've been trying to work on songs in which I take it from, I would love to write a song like Angels from Montgomery by John Prine. Obviously taking it from a fictional character, third person's perspective, because as we know, he's not an old woman. He's not named after his mother. His name is in fact John. He's a guy. And I just think it's really cool. I think it's it would be a very fun creative process to come up with someone who, while I'm sure would be influenced by personal experience, is otherwise its own separate story that has really nothing to do with my life too. So I think that would be cool, but by and large, it's all been my own personal experience.
This question isn't on my list, but I'm going to ask it anyway.
Oh man.
You mentioned Angel from Montgomery. So that song was made famous, obviously, by Bonnie Raitt, who,
Of course, yeah.
almost her signature song, and she didn't write that. So if you could imagine somebody recording one of your songs, who would that be?
Oh my.
To make it their signature song.
Lord. Well, I would like to, probably I'd choose someone who wasn't very too similar to my style, which is hard considering that, everyone I like is sort of influences my sound one way or the other. I would love to hear what Jason Isbell would do with Martyr, the first song.
I could hear that,
played.
absolutely.
I would love to see how he would sort of arrange that song and make it more Jason Isbell-y.
When you're writing from personal experience, do you have any songs that are too personal to share, that are still too raw emotionally to be shared publicly?
In a way, I would say yes, in so much that there is a cringe factor to some of my songs. I had this song called Queen of Hearts on my first album, and it is just so sappy and cringe in my head. Now, a lot of people really like it, and I think that's super cool, but to me, I just sound like a complete and total loser on there. It's just, why didn't you leave me? It's so sad. And of course, that's what 95% of all male music is. But
now, do you tell the people you write songs about that the song is about them?
I'm sorry?
Do you tell the people who the song is inspired by that it's about them?
No, but I'm sure they figured it out at this point. That's the problem. I feel like it's not, those personal stories weren't thinly veiled enough to mask it. And it's like that's one of those songs where it's just like it's sometimes if you get too specific and personal, then you lose the ability to reach a broader audience. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Eliza, I wrote with not really a single woman in mind. Actually, it was just sort of general feelings that you feel when you're hung up on someone or it's hard to let somebody go. And I like that better too, because if I'm focusing too much on the specifics of one particular relationship that only I was involved in, and of course the other person, then I lose the ability to connect with a broader audience who doesn't really know what's going on.
When is a song finished? When is it ready to be played live? When it's ready to be laid down in the studio?
Probably when you're just when you feel like there's nothing more that you can do with it, or you're reaching the point, because you want to strike while the iron is hot. And what I mean by that is, if you over practice or over tinker or be too meticulous, you really start not liking the song, because that's going to happen. You're gonna be hearing this in the studio and in the mixing and mastering process thousands of times, and you want to make sure that you're still excited about it before you bring it into the studio and lose all interest in it. No, I'm kidding. That's not what happens. But you know what I mean? You want to make sure it's tight enough, but fresh enough that you still feel pretty hot around the collar for it.
That's cool. Andrew Geano is our guest tonight on the tiny stage, 95.9 WATD. We have 2 more songs left. What's next on your list?
This is a song called Don't Come Running. This is about someone flirting with you who you used to have a thing with, and then you say, oh no, I'm not going there.
And you do.
I mean, that's part 2. Let's not get into there right now.
95.9 WATD, it's all yours.
Let's do it. All right.
Well, I hear you've been swimming in past loves lately these days. Well, I can see you looming over me from so far away. I know just what you're doing, picking up your crumbs, and shame on me for biting, but shame on you for coming. If you're out of loving, don't come running to me. You know I'm a recovering addict. I pace all around the city to get my fix. You threw me in the gutter, took all that you wanted, felt bad enough to feel bad, but not enough to stop it. If you're out of loving, don't come running to me. Well, I don't wanna make a thing about you coming round to me, but I need something more than what you're clearly trying to achieve. Why do you keep reconnecting fragile opiate receptors? I just can't at all resist her. Don't come running to me. To me. What good is sobriety anyway? Anyway, oh, you know there's not a damn difference it's gonna make. Gonna make. I know all that you do to keep me in your cubby. Felt bold enough to hurt her, but not enough to love me. If you're out of loving, don't come running to me. You're out of loving, you don't, you come running, you don't, you come running to me. Well, if you're out of loving, you don't, come running, you don't, you come running to me. Well, if you're out of loving, you don't, come running, you don't, you come running to me. Well, if you're out of loving, you don't, come running, you don't, you come running to me. To me, to me. Don't you come running to me, full stop.
Awesome. Andrew Geano, 95.9 WATD. Something that's been in my head throughout this entire interview is, over the last several years, really strong lyrical hooks have kind of taken a back seat in popular music, and they're really prominent in your songs. How important is a strong lyrical hook in your songs?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked this question, because I think a strong lyrical hook is more important than any story that you could tell, because I wouldn't say that no one understands this, but I feel that it's very important to understand nonetheless, is that lyrics are not meant to be read, they're meant to be heard. So I really think in sound bites, and I really think in little phrases that just sound good, and like, oh, this vowel sounds good over this type of melody. How can I turn those into words? You know what I mean? A great song that does this well is Come Together by the Beatles. And that song is, and John Lennon admits it, complete nonsense in terms of like lucidity and it telling any sort of story or message. But everything sounds so good. The words match the rhythm. The words matches the melody. They're nonetheless evocative. I mean, hold you in his armchair, you can feel his disease. I really like thinking in those little sound bites. Now, if I can make it make sense and tell a great story, awesome. That's even better. But for me, the words have to sound pretty, and then I worry about them making sense later. So I am all about the lyrical hooks.
Love that.
Yeah.
Andrew Geano on the tiny stage. We are up against our final break of the night. We have time for one more song. Does that work for you?
Oh, that works perfectly. Wow, time flies.
It really does.
Son of a gun.
95.9 WATD back after this.
And now, back to Almost Famous on 95.9 WATD.
Welcome back to the Almost Famous Tiny Stage Hour, 95.9 WATD. I'm John, and we are winding things down tonight with Andrew Geano on the tiny stage. How you doing?
Doing great, John. Thank you so much for having me.
My
This
pleasure.
Has been a blast. I can't believe it's already been an hour.
One final time, give us another introduction.
My name is Andrew Geano. I'm a Boston-based singer-songwriter. I just released a brand new single called Head Voice. You can find that on Spotify, iTunes, all digital streaming platforms. I just released a music video as well. You can find that on the YouTube, on the Facebook, and also on my website, which is W as in world, W as in wide, W as in web, .andrewgeanomusic.com. That is Andrew, Geano music.com. And all my information is up there. Feel free to shoot me a message and definitely listen to the song.
I was told by somebody to ask about your tattoos, and they have special meaning. Talk to us about that.
This guy I'm working with, John, he really he thinks that'd be a good part of conversation. But hey, I agree, it probably is. So tattoos are something that I'm really, I'm covered in them. I just think they're cool. At this point, we probably don't have time to go in through what they all mean. But tattoos are just I think they're just a phenomenal expression of oneself. I think you kind of have to be wired a certain way. I feel like once you get your first tattoo, if you are drawn to it, you're going to know if you want a whole lot more. And as soon as I got the obligatory musician treble clef on my left arm over here, I knew I was going to be a tattoo guy. I knew that was going to be part of my identity and part of who I want to be, and I'm very glad that I did. If I had the money and if I had the time and if I had the tolerance to pain, I would be covered head to toe. Well, not head to toe, but at least neck to toe.
Andrew Geano, thank you so much for making the time to come to Marshfield.
My pleasure, John. Thank you for having me.
Let's wrap up with one final song. What's that going to be?
This is I always like to close out with this because it is aptly titled as Take Care of Yourself. So what better way to say goodbye than take care of yourself?
All right. Talk to you soon. Thank you again.
There's no right way to recover, all the wrong ways to relapse. There's nothing quite like getting caught in your own self-made traps. So there I sat in town as my friends came to my aid. They all told me how to break free, but they all said different ways. Some would say that I need love for all my problems to be solved. Some would say that I'm not ready to date or get involved. But it's times like these I listen to my heart and carry on. But I'm all out of ideas, so come on, bring on the mob. They say don't go out at night, don't be staying home alone. Don't lean too much on your friends, but please pick up that phone. Well, I'd love to find a way to escape my inner hell. Can't figure out what they mean by take care of yourself, but dun dun dun. Well, maybe I'm just too involved with my own career and goals, but when I cut back, they told me that I went overboard. So I tried to strike a balance, but I think I tried too hard, and I ended up in rehab, sending my regards They say don't turn that at night, don't be staying home alone. Don't lean too much on your friends, but please pick up that phone. Well, I'd love to find a way to escape my inner hell. Can't figure out what they mean by take care of yourself. Someone said that I should start seeing the forest for the trees, but I never liked the outdoors and I'm not too big on green. Well, they told me metaphors were not to be taken literally, but when they say don't drink, well, now I'm supposed to take them seriously. Well, they don't go out at night, don't be staying home alone. Don't lean too much on your friends, but please pick up that phone. Well, I'd love to find a way to escape my inner hell. Can't figure out what they mean by never knew what they meant by don't know what they meant by. Well, they say don't go out at night, don't be staying home alone. Don't lean too much on your friends, but please pick up the phone. Well, I'd love to find a way to escape my inner hell. Can't figure out what they mean by take care of yourself. Woo-hoo-hoo.